priority for his state, he is unable to attend. However, these 3 states sent their representatives, but this is the picture. Either the Chief Minister or the Deputy Chief Minister or a Finance Minister represented all other states. There were some of the issues which were, other than the usual routine of minutes and other things, I'm just coming straight to the issues. Other than the issues which have been pending, which have been taken over, specific decisions have been taken today, which of course the Secretary will get into the details. I must thank every state, the Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister and the Finance Ministers who were here for having done 2 or 3 things. They were unanimous, of course, to thank Shri Arun Jaitley for having been a very important part of the Council. With his wisdom and timely interventions, he brought a certain kind of ease with which the Council participated in its activities. A copy of the resolution also will be given to you. Formally, the Ministry will get that ready to be handed over to Mr. Jaitley. Similarly, the Council today started by recalling the services of all other ministers who had participated till now, but who, because of various reasons, are no longer member of the GST Council as it stands today. And because of different positions have been changed or whatever. And it also expressed condolence on the demise of Uttarakhand's minister, Mr. Pant. And that was also laid on the table and a resolution was passed. So after doing the due and justified formalities, we got into talking and the details will be explained. I was quite happy that the environment was very conducive. Good, meaningful discussions happened. Absolutely to the point discussions. And across the board, there seemed to be a very solid understanding on the issues related to the GST. It was such a very heartening experience to be here. So I'll have Secretary get into the details a bit and I'll chip in wherever.
Yes. Thank you, Madam. So in today's GST Council meeting, that was 35th GST Council meetings, several major decisions have been taken, and I will list out the major ones. One is the changes pertaining to laws, that in the GST law, what all changes that we have made. One of the major changes that we have made now, for the ease of registration, GST registration. In the earlier system, people had to give various documents, submit in a physical forms or scanned forms, proof of identity, proof of address, several other documents. Now what we have decided to use, the GST Council has decided to use Aadhaar, and by using Aadhaar, several advantages will occur to the business. The person who is applying, he can go online using his Aadhaar number, and through OTP authentication, he can register himself on the GSTN portal and get the GSTN registration number. So that is a major decision that has been taken so far as the ease of doing business is concerned. Now, GST Council has also taken, has approved several changes which were made during the last few months. For example, the GST registration limit threshold was raised from 20 lakhs to 40 lakhs. Earlier it was done through the notification. Now appropriate changes have been made in the laws. So that is what the GST Council approved. Similarly, the frequency of the returns. The dealers, who were having turnover up to 5 crores, they will be filing quarterly returns, and above 5 crores, they will be filing monthly returns. So those things have been now built into the law. Similarly, the composition scheme for the service provider, the decision which was taken in the GST Council meetings few months back, and which was done through a notification. Now that has become, now that will be made part of the law. One more decision was taken to extend the tenure of the National Anti-Profiteering Body. The tenure was going to expire this year. Now the term has been extended by 2 more years. And also, in order to ensure that the whatever GST rate cuts are given by the GST Council, they are actually passed on to the consumers and no anti-profiteering takes place. The current provision was that only the penalty of 25,000 rupees will be imposed in addition to the profiteering amount. If the profiteering amount, so now the change that has been approved by the GST Council is that if the profiteered amount is not deposited within 30 days, then the penalty to the extent of 10% of the profiteer amount will be imposed on the company which has done the profiteering. So that is again a consumer-friendly decision, and which will ensure that the various GST rate cut reliefs which have been sanctioned by the GST councils are actually passed on to the consumers. So that is one decision has been taken. Then similarly, the decision to extend the date for the annual returns. The last date for filing the annual return was 30th of June 2019. Now, because we had received several representation from the trade and then business that they need some more time because this is the first time they will be filing the returns. So, considering their difficulties, GST Council has extended the date by 2 more months. So now the annual returns will be filed by 30th of August 2019. Similarly, yes, all the 3 forms. There are 3 forms: GSTR 9, GSTR 9A, and GSTR 9C. So there are 3 different types of forms for the 3 different categories of business. The businesses, small business, medium business, and the large business. So there are different forms. So
for all the 3 forms, the extension is about till August.
Till August. Then the GST has also approved the introduction of the new return system. As you are aware, today the people have to file GSTR 3B every month and also GSTR 1. So the 2 returns. So the GST Council had already taken a decision in principle to go for a single return every month for the bigger turnover taxpayers. So now, instead of having 2 returns every month, only a single return will have to be filed, and then the entire timeline and also the transition, that how this will get implemented. So the timeline is such that the new return system will become applicable from January 1st, 2020 fully. Before that, the GST Council has given a timeline saying that the which category of taxpayer will file this new return from which period. But from January 1st, 2020, everyone will file that single return, and that will also give a lot of that will be business business and trade friendly measure. Then also GST Council has approved electronic invoicing system, because electronic invoice system, so today the business has to file returns, also has to upload the details of returns, and thirdly, when the goods are being transported, that time the e-way bills are also e-way bills are to be generated. So effectively, these are the 3 different things which every business has to do. Now with this electronic invoice, which are prevalent, on which we were working for last several months, finally we proposed a system through which the invoice can be generated on a portal, and then that invoice itself can act like a e-way bill, and because it is going to be on the portal, the collection of your invoice can itself become a return. So that is the system. That is the system which we will work on, and GST Council has given in principle approval for this electronic invoicing system. Now the GST Council has also approved e-ticketing for multiplexes, because in multiplexes the GST Council has approved that it will be mandatory for the multiplexes, the multi-screen cinema halls. They have to issue electronic tickets, and this is again will be very, very convenient for the consumers, and also it will also ensure that the state government and then the central government get proper revenue. There were two proposals for promotion of electric vehicles. There was a proposal to bring the GST rate on sale of electric vehicles from the current 12% to 5%, and also the GST rate on the electric chargers, which will be used in the electric vehicles, from the current rate of 18% to 12%. Both these issues, and then there was third proposal where the leasing of electric vehicles, so reducing rate on that GST on the leasing of the electric vehicles. So all these three proposals have been sent to the fitment committee, and then the fitment committee will deliberate on this proposal and come back to the GST Council with their recommendations. Then the GST Council discussed the reports given by the group of ministers on lottery, and in this case the report of the group of ministers was discussed in detail, and views of every state was taken, and finally the GST Council has decided that there are two cases. There is one case which has been decided by Kolkata High Court, and then there is one case which is pending in the Supreme Court. So before taking any decision, it was decided that to consult the Attorney General, and then come back to the GST Council in the next meeting, and then take an appropriate decision. So these are the broad decisions taken by the GST Council today. The AG, because the several questions have been raised in the Calcutta High Court judgment, and also in the petitions which is pending before the Supreme Court. So what we are going to discuss with the AG, that the issues which are raised there, what is the the correct stand, and on those issues we will be consulting the AG, and then take the consider the matter in the next committee.
When you said second return for bigger assessor, that means the 5 crore and below?
Yeah, no, even the smaller. The quarterly also will have also the similar, again the single return. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Isn't the council empowered already to take a decision? So why do you have to wait for
It's not to check whether the council is empowered or not. The issues before the court were about whether states can have one or two rates. Will it be illegal for states to have, or will it be untenable for states to have two rates, are issues which are being discussed in the court. As it is, the court itself has said, please let the council decide on it. The opinion of the AG is being sought to the limited point of whether, if you look at Article 304, a product which is the lottery ticket being one item, one commodity, one good, And the principle which is being used in the GST is that all goods within one country, one tax, one rate, whatever. In that context, highlighting Article 304, it was felt that one clarity be obtained seeking AG's view. It is not on the question of whether Council can or cannot. It is not at all on that. It's only the clarity as much as on Article 304.
And is there any decision regarding non-finance companies they will not be allowed to issue
Yes, I will clarify that. That date also has been extended by 2 more months. The blocking of e-way bill for not filing the return, that date also has been extended. Yeah, so that was, in fact, that date expired today, so that has been extended. Yes.
So the question on e-invoicing, you are saying that you will now introduce a new format of e-invoicing. What would be the parameters from when this will kick in formally? As you said, it's an in-principle approval right now. What will be the final details? Because it will impact everyone.
Yes. So the details of the e-invoice system and also the phasing also has been discussed today. Again, in principle, approval has been given. We will share with you. Yes.
Ma'am, one question. Ma'am, anything on the road forward as far as rate rationalization? Also, items to be included further. And simplification, you again taken major decisions today. Your tweet was very important in the morning, ma'am. So that gave a kind of an indication of how things are going to look up. If you could share your thoughts on that.
There weren't any specific things on it, but once in the morning when I met with the finance ministers of the state for the pre-budget consultation, and now we have very clearly emphasized, and every state was on board on the fact that simplification is the route through which we should approach this whole thing, and to take it forward also, the objective should be towards simplification. So on that, everyone was very clear. Other than that, specific roadmaps were not relayed for anything in particular other than what has been in the agenda.
Ma'am, the states in the first half of the day have raised certain concerns with respect to growth as well. This is
With respect to
growth,
growth.
And slowdown concerns in the economy as well. This is going to have the ripple effect on the GST collections as well. Was there any discussion with respect to that?
No, in fact, we didn't spend much time on that. We were looking at those points in the agenda which were specifically about, those issues of e-way bill and extension of the dates, and also looking at the amendments in the law and so on. That is it. We'll soon announce. In fact, that is one of the things which one of the state mentioned, and others agreed to, that the GST meeting should happen reasonably frequently. I'm not using their words, these are my words.
Sir, Madam, Satna asked about rate reduction, more rationalization. Will you be working towards
Simplification also, I suppose, is
Is a
obtained by rationalization.
Right, yes.
Thank you.
जो अभी 12 लोगों को जो फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री ने जिन लोगों को कंपल्सरी रिटायरमेंट दिया, उनकी जो लास्ट पोस्टिंग बताई थी उसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे थे जो जीएसटी फंक्शन से
Well, I don't think there's a direct correlation to GST posting and the compulsory retirement.
कुछ जीएसटी चोरी के लिए आपने किया.
No, but in that I want you to be absolutely clear. There's no direct correlation between my compulsory retirement decision and this. There was one reference about faking of bills, under invoicing,
Yes,
and so on.
yes. So in fact, we had a presentation on this menace of fake invoices and bogus billing, and that presentation also has been shared with the states, and that also has a specific, the line of action. That action also has been approved by GST Council in principle. That does not require any law change at this point of time. It is issue of an enforcement, because in GST Council we discussed several measures. The enforcement measures, we also review that how we are doing, what more we should be doing, and if any changes in law are required. So in this particular case, this issue of fake invoice and bogus billing was, there was a presentation there, and the presentation has been shared with all these states, and we will take action as per that.
I'll request the Revenue Secretary to be around to answer. Only I have to rush. So excuse me. Thank you.
I'll join. Welcome. Yes.
Sir, how big is the revenue concern? Because revenues are way below the asking rate. And also, sir, on e-vehicles, when you reduce the taxation from 12 to 5%, though the matter has been reviewed in the committee, but any calculation on what would be the revenue loss arising out of this?
See, at this point of time, we are not having a significant manufacturing of electronic vehicles. But so far as the government is concerned, government wants to promote the manufacturing of electric vehicles, and that is why the government, came to GST Council for the with the proposal of reduction of rates from 12 to 5%. The details have to be worked out in the fitment committee, and then it will come back to the GST Council for final decision. The revenue implications, because today there are not much manufacturing of electric vehicles, so therefore that question is not very material at this point of time.
So what are the specific points discussed for curbing fake invoices? You said there was a presentation.
See, so far as the fake invoices are concerned, that is where, first of all, the how this problem was discussed. What are the various methods through which the people are generating invoices, and circular trading. Those issues were discussed, and how to strengthen the enforcement measures, in the sense that raising the red flag alerts. How do you using the data from income tax department, using the data from the customs department, using the data inside what is available in the GSTN. So today in the digital world, not every time one has to go and physically go and inspect a business to figure out whether he's doing a genuine business or he's doing some suspicious kind of a transactions. Through the electronic means, through what we call is economic or electronic triangulation. He's filing income tax return, he's filing in customs or export, he's filing shipping bills, and also he's filing GST return. If you figure out that his nature of transactions are not commensurate with the kind of activity he's showing to one department and other. For example, if supposing somebody has shown turnover of 100 crores in GST, but in income tax he has shown gross taxable income of only maybe few lakhs, and either he has not paid any income tax, or he has not filed tax return. So this is something where some red flags could be generated. Similarly, supposing somebody has exported a huge shown export of huge quantity, or the vice versa, the import of huge quantity, and he has not filed GST return, or he has not filed income tax return, or if he has filed, he has shown a different level of transactions. So those are the things which can be tracked, and that activity has already been started. And you may have read in the newspaper that just few days back we did identify few thousand such dubious exporters, not by going and physically going and raiding those exporters, but through this data analytics we have been able to find them, and then we are able to stop them. So the whole idea is that how do you use the data which are available with the various agencies, and through that data triangulation you try and zero in to the suspicious transactions and suspicious people, so that the genuine business do not get impacted. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I also have to rush. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I saw 100
नहीं 1 मिनट नहीं आप कल आ जाइए